What's up, everybody? BD here. Last night we were at a New Year's Eve party in Tunica, Mississippi, out at the Horseshoe Casino. We're at Bluesville. Great venue at the casino, and had a band there, and it was a great time. People of all ages, colors. I mean, it was just everybody was just having a great time. There was no drama. We had a actually I had an elderly black couple at our table, and they were cool. They were cool. We made some good friends last night. It was awesome. And you're like, man, if every day could be like this, the world would be a great place. And then you wake up to this, right? Some maniac in New Orleans. And there's lots of reports coming out. And I picked this video. We'll take a look just because it has some eyewitness accounts to it. But, what goes on in a person's mind, their heart? I mean, was it terrorism? Was it not terrorism? I usually reserve judgment until all the facts are out. But the one thing you cannot reserve judgment on is this is a heinous, cowardly, evil attack. Let's listen to it.
We are hearing from a witness who, heard and saw all of this unfold. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
Around 3:15, we heard a pop, 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 pop sound, followed by a sound that sounded like fireworks going off, like a big firework all at once. And it turned out that was the crash. So that pulled us out of bed, peeked through the curtains to see, what was going on. And at that point, we saw cops all over the place, stacking up, rifles trained on the car. So, peeking through the windows, we kind of backed away to make sure that the situation was okay. Saw the cops telling people in the other buildings, like, stay inside, stay inside.
Yeah, that witness there describing what he thought initially were fireworks, only to find out, as we just heard from Aaron, that there were gunshots. I do have another witness on the phone. Jimmy, are you with us? Can you briefly just describe what you heard, what you saw? Take us through everything that you witnessed on Bourbon Street there.
So Bourbon Street, like he said, probably about 3:10 a.m. We were heading towards Canal, which is the way the truck was coming towards us. We ducked off into a nightclub because we weren't sure what was going on at the other end, and it looked like just nothing we wanted to see. So we just ducked off into a club. By the time we got in, 5 girls had ran in frantically and hid under chairs. So us knowing where we were, we ran upstairs to the balcony to make it less available if something was following inside. And what we witnessed was body after body mangled, just as far as you could see. We counted 10, and at least 6 were instantly, clearly deceased. And they were trying to get everybody just to stay inside, but everyone had just completely disappeared. Like, after these people ran over, I think we were the only ones outside on the balcony, and we took video just for the sheer shock. Like, you don't see stuff like that on city streets. Yeah. And just no one was helping them. Like, that was kind of the first crazy thought we had, is why is no one helping them? They wouldn't let us out. And obviously, like I told you, some were very clearly deceased, but others were yelling out. And it's a lot to process.
Yeah, and I can hear that shock in your voice. Obviously, this had to be horrific to witness. I mean, I imagine that you were there celebrating, with your friends, your loved ones, ringing in the new year, and then to see and to watch all of this unfold. What was going through your mind, Jimmy?
Shock. Like, it looked like something out of a movie, the way these bodies were mangled. And we had just seen this one girl outside dancing when we were walking up, and not to be too graphic, but she was flattened. Like, this was a full-size F-150 4x4, and this girl didn't even look human. And then another one had to be a mother. She was dead in front of us, right at my feet, just twisted skull. I mean, I could just keep going. Another gentleman, he was for sure deceased. He actually had tire tracks over his stomach and back when they were trying to finally check on him. And another woman had got her legs pinned when he run her over. Half her body was on the street, half her body was on the curb. So she obviously was very broken, but still breathing at that moment.
Yeah.
You know, these people are never going to wake up.
Yeah. The pure shock and the panic there that you just described, Jimmy, is so heartbreaking. I'm so glad that you are okay, and hopefully those that were with you and around you are okay as well. Jimmy, thank you for sharing that.
Just, that is sick. It's just sick. I mean, there's nothing valiant or cool about it, and I can imagine the horror having to see that, and that will stick with these people for the rest of their life. There's no just forgetting about it and pushing it to the back of your mind and going, just another day. It's not just another day. And you think about that. 1 second you're fine, you're happy, you're partying, and then some jackass starts running through the crowd killing people, and that's just horrible. It's horrible. And it looks like they've released the name of it. We'll click over on this video real quick. We'll check this one out too. Let's check this out too real quick.
Hey, sorry for interrupting.
Speaking of jackasses.
Well, we begin in New Orleans with that New Year's celebration in New Orleans that turned to tragedy overnight after a driver, police say, was, quote, hell-bent on carnage and rammed into a crowd at a high rate of speed and then opened fire on officers. This afternoon, we know 10 people lost their lives and more than 30 are injured. Katie Weiss is in New Orleans with the latest.
I arrived shortly after the tragedy unfolded, and witnesses on scene told me that they saw a truck moving into a crowd at a high rate of speed on Bourbon Street. That's a world-famous street, and at that time, it was filled with people celebrating the new year. Just hours into the new year, celebration turned to chaos in New Orleans after a truck plowed through a crowd on the city's iconic Bourbon Street.
He was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. It was very intentional behavior. This man was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could.
The incident unfolded shortly after 3 a.m. local time.
We heard loud banging sounds.
This witness did not want to be on camera.
We looked out the window, we noticed there was a lot of bodies laying on the ground.
The FBI says the suspect died after a firefight with police. The agency has taken the lead on the investigation and is looking into the incident as an act of terrorism.
The city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack.
The mayor warned people to stay away from the Bourbon Street area as the FBI investigated what appeared to be at least one improvised explosive device. The incident happened hours before the kickoff of a college football quarterfinal in the city's Superdome. Police said they're making sure the area is safe for the game. Now, the New Orleans police superintendent said the suspect fired at officers from his vehicle, striking 2 of them. They were taken to the hospital and are thankfully both in stable condition. I'm Katie Weiss, CBS News, New Orleans. Now back to you.
And just moments ago, we learned the identity of that suspect. 42-year-old Shamsud-Din is the man accused of what the governor of Louisiana called a horrific act of violence. The governor saying he and his wife are praying for all the victims and first responders on the scene. The president also made a brief comment to reporters.
I'm not going to comment on any specific at all. I've contacted every...
Wow. There you go. Shamsud-Din said there was a flag that was attached to one of the trucks too. They had that covered up. The police did, but eyewitnesses say it looked very much like an ISIS flag. Now, how true that is, don't know. Yet another rumor that's coming out of this, because there's been a lot of that, but finally have a name of the suspect, and you've heard some of the witnesses and how awful that is and what they went through and had to endure. And oh my God, and this happens in seconds. I mean, it's not this whole death and tragedy that took place occurred in seconds. No, it wasn't strung out over hours. It was quick. The death and carnage happened instantaneously, and it's horrific. It's tragic, and it just goes to show you they can happen anytime, anywhere. And unfortunately, these days you have to be on your P's and Q's. You have to have situational awareness at all times. And you certainly can't go into this life anymore thinking it can't happen to you, it won't happen to me, all this garbage. Because I guarantee you, none of those people were even remotely thinking something like that would have happened to them. Guys, what do y'all think about the situation? Leave your comments down below. Hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll see you in the next one.